Hello, I'm Justice Jennifer Brunner, Justice of the Ohio Supreme Court and candidate for Chief Justice of the Supreme Court for the November 8th election here in 2022. And it is my distinct honor in my series called Achieving Justice to have with me today Michael John Ryan, who's currently a judge of the Common Pleas Court in Cuyahoga County. And for those of you who are in the south part of the state, that's where Cleveland is. And he is a candidate for the 8th District Court of Appeals in Cuyahoga County. Welcome, Judge Ryan.
Thank you, Justice Brunner, for inviting me to be a part of your series on Achieving Justice. I am honored that I have the invitation to be here today and grateful for the chance to introduce myself to more people here throughout our great state of Ohio.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, Judge Ryan has a very strong background of judicial experience. He's been a municipal court judge. He's now a common pleas court judge, and he wants to take that experience and go to the 8th District Court of Appeals. So can you give us a little bit of your background and your history, Judge Ryan?
Sure. Thank you, Justice Brunner. Well, I started off as, in terms of my legal career, as a mediator for the prosecutor's office while I was in law school. And then for 2 years, I actually served as a law clerk for the city of Cleveland, doing a lot of research and writing on behalf of the attorneys that represented the civil section, or civil division of the Cleveland Law Department. And after graduating from law school and passing the bar, I started off as a prosecuting attorney for the city of Cleveland. I wanted to get some litigation experience, and boy, did I. I actually participated in more than 300 to 400 trials to the bench, and then, of course, jury trials as well. And then I had the fortunate opportunity to work for Mayor White and the Public Administration Office for the Department of Public Safety. I worked with the Office of Professional Standards. And there I functioned as the administrator, and this was with the office that dealt with complaints against police. And so I oversaw police officers as well as sergeants, and of course, a couple of lay individuals. And we were tasked with deciding whether or not an officer committed some offense or violated the general police orders. And then I was the advisor to our Civilian Police Review Board, handled matters before the Chief of Police, as well as the Director of the Department of Public Safety. I then left that particular job and started working as an associate attorney for Forrest Fields and Associates. And there I got a lot of civil experience, represented individuals for criminal defense because of obviously my work as a prosecuting attorney. But then I represented people for personal injury matters. Mr. Forbes had me be the attorney for different nonprofit organizations that the law firm was representing. I assisted with cases where we were the firm representing employers, and then of course when employees would file discrimination acts or discrimination cases, I assisted with those cases as well. And then I had the opportunity to become a magistrate for the city of Cleveland, Cleveland Municipal Court. And in that capacity, I actually sat under judges, presided over small claim cases, personal injury claims, jury trials. I presided over those as well, contract matters. And so just got an opportunity to do a lot of work, a lot of repetition in terms of evidentiary issues and civil procedure. I also had the fortunate opportunity to preside over the judges, both civil and criminal dockets. And I did that for about 4.5 years. And then fortunately, I was elected judge for Cleveland Municipal Court 7 years. And I handled matters as minor as moving violations to as major as domestic violence. And then had the fortunate opportunity to be elected judge for the Common Pleas Court Juvenile Division, and again handling matters as minor as moving violations to as major as aggravated murder. I'm responsible now as a judge for Juvenile Court for determining if an individual was bound over at the ages of 14 or older, or remain in our juvenile court jurisdiction to determine whether or not they are delinquent, and then possibly placed in Ohio Department of Services or other alternative placements, or placed on community control, released back to parents. And also I'm responsible for abuse, neglect, and dependency cases, determining if a child should be returned back to their parents or placed in the permanent custody of the agency. We do a lot of other private custody cases, child support, as well as the judicial bypass for young ladies who are pregnant and can't get consent for an abortion through their parents. And so there's I have a varied legal experience, and I think that has served me well here at the juvenile court as well as Cleveland Municipal Court, and I think will assist me greatly at the 8th District Court of Appeals.
It sure sounds like it. You're making me tired thinking about all that work you've done. I'm thinking about with the Dobbs decision and the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and we don't know yet what the status is going to be of Ohio legislation when it's all said and done. But any thoughts on how that affects the role of a juvenile court judge in giving a child permission to have an abortion aside from what her parents would permit?
I think it's major for the court, because now in terms of the restriction with respect to these young ladies, now with the I know the state of Ohio has the fetal heart bill, so that means that now young ladies, they have to make sure they're at least 6 weeks, I think is the cutoff now. So if they are not within that time frame, now we are precluded from being able to grant them the consent to have the abortion. But prior to that time, which means that there has to be more education for these young ladies about determining whether or not they're pregnant at that point, and still coming through our court with the ability to have consent. I don't think that it changes too much in terms of determining whether or not these young ladies have the mental capacity to make that decision. That will not, I think that will not change. However, the timing will change for them. And for me, I'm someone who looks at a young lady's maturity level. If I believe that she's mature enough to make that decision, I give her the consent to have that procedure done. I always advise them that I'm not saying that you have to, but now that you will have the power to make that choice, which is quite different from, unfortunately, a lot of individuals, a lot of women in our community now whose choices have been severely restricted by the Dobbs decision.
Right. And I think a lot of people think, oh, a trial judge can just do what they want.
Yeah.
But I think they might be surprised to realize that what the legislature does are the rules that we follow.
Exactly. We're not making up the rules. We're interpreting them and enforcing them.
Right. So you have a really storied career in the law. What do you like best about being a lawyer and being a judge?
Being able to help people. I can tell you that as a young person, I had an aversion to the court system, and it was because one of my first involvements with the legal system was coming to visit my stepdad, and I thought it was my real father at that point, coming to visit him at the justice center, because he was incarcerated for aggravated burglary, and eventually he was released, but that was only released for a pretrial. And then my first time actually being in the courtroom was during his sentencing. And so my sister and I were actually surprised by what was going on. My mom and my stepdad, brought us downtown, and we went on like this field trip, this outing. And then the last place we went was to the Justice Center. And I knew, when we got on the first floor that was for going to visit him in the jail, but we bypassed that area, went to the elevators, went all the way to the 22nd floor, and walked into the courtroom. unbeknownst to us, they were sentencing him, and they gave him 4 to 25 years at Mansfield. And, it was a shock to my sister and I. We were crying. We didn't know, what was going on. And then my mother, she was crying, and she explained to us as we left what happened. And I just did not have, the greatest feeling towards the court system. And that all changed when I went to Allegheny College. And I took a class called Civil Liberties. And I learned in that class, more about the Constitution, more in-depth discussion. And I left that class with a different perspective about the law. And I knew at that point that the law wasn't there to hurt people, but it was there to help. And, I realized that my stepdad was wrong in what he did. And, he had to receive consequences for his behavior. But I knew that the law was also there to protect people like my mom, who had been a victim of domestic violence from the time that I could recall, from the time I was 4 until I was 11, and only stopped when our stepfather went to prison. And so I knew that being an attorney, especially a prosecutor, I could help, those victims of domestic violence. I can help those kids who are in situations like myself regarding domestic violence and other issues of abuse. My mom was addicted to drugs, so was my stepfather. So my sister and I were neglected when it came to food, when it came to clothing, when it came to stable environments. And so, being a judge here, dealing with abuse of dependency cases, is very relevant to me when I'm dealing with those cases. And so, I knew as an attorney that people were there to help, and that's what I wanted to do as a lawyer, but then even more so as a judge.
I'm right with you there. I feel like the legal profession is a helping profession.
Yeah.
And we are trained with specialized knowledge to help protect people and to do what we can to make their lives better. So Court of Appeals, very different setting from a trial court. Tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are for serving on the 8th District Court of Appeals, assuming that you're elected.
Well, I know that the 8th District Court of Appeals, as you stated numerous times during your conversation about your work as an appellate court judge, is the correction court. And so it's incumbent upon the appellate court to be able to provide guidance to trial courts. One, if they have done something incorrect, to give them direction, and then for those who haven't, to affirm those particular judges and let them know that what they're doing is absolutely correct and following the law. And so that's one part of it. For me as well, I come from a background of writing, research and writing. I haven't enjoyed that. One as a law clerk for the city of Cleveland for 2 years. Then when I was a prosecuting attorney, I responded to a lot of the motions, actually to most of the motions that were filed, as opposed to relegating my work to a law clerk or other individuals. Because of my background, having a Bachelor of Arts degree in English and doing a lot of writing in college. And so it's something that is one of my strengths. And so that's something that is right down my wheelhouse in terms of experience. Additionally, I've done a lot of writing as a judge in response to different motions that have been filed, especially constitutional issues. And so it would be something that I would enjoy doing as a judge now at this level, at this time in my career. I've had the opportunity to be a litigator as an attorney, both on the criminal side and civil side, as well as a jurist presiding with respect to civil and criminal matters. And I believe that I have the requisite skills to be able to make the appropriate decisions when it comes to matters that are before the 8th District Court of Appeals.
That's wonderful. And the seat that you're running for, was previously held by Judge Larry Jones, who unfortunately passed away 2021.
Yes, October of 2021.
Yeah. I think he's inspired a lot of people in Cuyahoga County, and it was a shock when he passed.
I'll say this about Judge Jones. Judge Jones is partially responsible for me being a judge. Um, I spent a majority of my career at the Justice Center in Cuyahoga County as a mediator, as a law clerk there, as a prosecuting attorney, as a defense attorney, personal injury attorney, a lot of time in that building. And a lot of the cases that I had was before Judge Jones. And so we developed a good rapport. And when I told him I was interested in running for office, he took me right under his wings. He says, listen, Mike, you're going to follow my direction. And I did. And so everything that he advised me to do, I did it to the letter. And we became so close that people thought that I was actually a member of his family. And I told people, my name is not Jones, it is Ryan. But I spent a lot of time with him and his family. And it still is, hard for me to even talk about Judge Jones without getting emotional because, when he died, it was a shock. He actually swore me in twice, once as a judge for municipal court, and then second time when I won for re-election. And so it's been hard not to be able to call him or text him and talk about different issues that we're dealing with in the community and getting his feedback. And plus, he and I have spoke, numerous times about, one, he wanted me to join him in the Court of Appeals, but I was like, Judge, I've only been at juvie for a few years. I want some more experience there. But he said, when I decide to retire, which would have been in 2026, he said, I would hope that you would run and continue the legacy that I started.
Well, look, you're fulfilling his advice.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So you, with all this great career background, what do you like to do for fun?
I am a big sports fanatic, so I love the Cleveland Guardians, the Cleveland Cavaliers, Cleveland Browns. I actually played football and I ran track in high school and college. And both of my kids are, way better athletes than me. My daughter, she played basketball, actually played in 2 state championships.
Wow.
My son is actually a state champion in basketball. He played for St. Edward High School. My son played collegiately for 5 years. My daughter, she didn't continue when she went to college. But so, I like going to sporting events. I like, working out still, try to keep my stomach down. It's not at the level it was when I was in college, but I do my best to keep it close. And I still like to do recreational reading as well. So those are the things that I do for fun. I'm married. I've been married for almost 27 years in August. So my wife and I, we do a lot of things, both in the greater Cleveland community, and then of course outside of that as well. And spend a lot of time with our kids too.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yep, there's nothing like family. Yeah,
nothing like family.
No. So, if you is there one thing you think that folks might not know about you, or that you'd want them to know about you as you finish these last 4 months running for office?
For me, what I think people don't know about me is that, I've overcome a lot of adversity to be where I am today. In fact, I wrote a book called The Least Likely: From the Housing Projects to the Courthouse. And it is centered on providing a blueprint to individuals about overcoming obstacles to, fulfill what your true potential is. And, I talked a little bit about that earlier, but, my mom was pregnant with me at 14. I didn't meet my biological father until I was 25 because he was incarcerated in federal prison. My stepfather, as I told you before, was also addicted to drugs and was a domestic abuser. Addition to that, my mom died when I was 13, and I was living with my stepdad's mom, who died a year after my mother, living with several of my stepdad's sisters, my aunts, and then, my grandmother, my mother's mom, raising me the last part of a lot of part of my 12th grade year in high school. And so despite attending 11 different schools from kindergarten to 12th to 11th grade, and having all those tragic events, I still graduated through an honors program with scholarships, both in high school, college, and law school. Passed the bar my first attempt. Things that most people would say, based on my background, should not have occurred. And so I'm a testament to individuals that, despite the challenges that you face, if you work hard and you have faith, there's a way to overcome all those and be the success that you believe you can be, notwithstanding what others may doubt you to be. And so that's something that I would hope that people would take away that they may not know about me in terms of my ability to persevere.
Well, I, for one, am inspired, and I'm so glad I had the chance to talk with you today. I've enjoyed seeing you in Cleveland when I'm on the campaign trail as well. And I'm wishing you the very, very best as you move into the November election. And I'm glad that folks are going to get a chance to know you a little bit better because of your taking the time to be with me today. I so appreciate it. So this has been Achieving Justice, and this is Justice Jennifer Brunner of the Ohio Supreme Court. And today I've been interviewing Judge Michael John Ryan, who is a candidate for the 8th District Court of Appeals to be a judge in the Court of Appeals. Thank you so much, Judge Ryan, and God bless.
Thank you again, Justice Brunner. God bless you too. I can't wait to see you move from one seat to the next at the Ohio Supreme Court.
Thank you so much.